Hey YouTube, it's Justin, aka Demonic Sweaters, here with another Alesis Nitro mesh programming tutorial. Today's tutorial is going to be about how to program what I'm calling the Steve Albini drum sound. Now, I had a lot of people request a Nirvana drum sound, and one specifically was asking for the drum sound that's on In Utero, which is the final full-length studio release by Nirvana. And that one, I really like the drum sound on that record, but I will say that that drum sound is actually a very common drum sound by the producer, engineer, Steve Albini. Well, he calls himself an engineer, but let's face it, he's a producer too. He doesn't like to admit it, but he definitely is. His recordings definitely have a sound. Most specifically, his drum sound always pretty much has a very, very similar sound to it across the board on almost all the recordings he's ever done. And that's why I thought that I would do the In Utero / Steve Albini drum sound. I think it's a good one to do. I don't know if it's even possible on the Alesis Nitro mesh, but I'm going to try my best. The thing is with Steve Albini is he uses a lot of natural room reverbs. So it's not like a digitally processed sound. It's all coming from, you know, like literally the room. Like he'll put drums in a big room and mic up the room and like put mics, you know, in a room down the hall and things like that to get this natural ambience to his recordings. And that's why they, you know, a lot of times sound really good, you know, to some people. Some people don't like it, but I personally really like it. Not for everything, but I think when it works really, really well. In Utero is one of those albums where it really, really worked well on. It really fits Dave Grohl's super bombastic, heavy drum playing, and I think it's really cool sounding. So I'm going to do my best on that. But before we get started, though, I just wanted to mention my sponsor for this video is DistroKid. DistroKid can get your music on all the streaming platforms, such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, even TikTok, Instagram, Deezer, all kinds of stuff. Basically, if it streams, DistroKid can get your music on there. And they have a lot of really great features in addition to that. One of them being that when you submit your music through DistroKid, it gets uploaded to the streaming services faster than anybody else. They really, really do a great job of getting your music out there quickly. You know exactly when it gets posted. You can see it in your hyperfollow page that they give you, which is a list of all the links to all your streaming services, and it's automatically created by DistroKid, and I think that's a really great feature. You can also do lyric synchronization as well as get verified for Spotify, and that's really cool too because then you get a verified Spotify page. They just have a ton of really great features, and it's all for one low annual fee. So definitely check out DistroKid. There'll be a link down below where you can get 7% off the already low annual fee, and you can upload as much music as you want all year. So definitely check out DistroKid. All right, let's get on to the Alesis Nitro module to do some drum programming. Now what I'm gonna do is actually set up the camera so you can see me programming the module, and then I'm gonna play a track at the end that is kind of inspired by In Utero type Nirvana type sounds. And I'm going to use, my kit is actually no longer the Nitro mesh pads. I have a custom kit that I made, but I'm still running it through the Nitro mesh module. So it'll still sound exactly like it would if you programmed it on your Alesis Nitro mesh. The only difference being is I have one less rack tom than you'll have on yours. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with kit number 1 on the Nitro module. And this is just your basic drum sound that is the first one you hear when you turn on the module. So like always, I want to start with my kick drum. You don't have to, but that's usually how I do it. So this kick drum is way too clicky sounding for Albini, Dave Grohl, In Utero, so let's see what we can find here. Let me turn on my headphones. All right, so let's see. What we're gonna do to edit, we're gonna first press the kick button or kick the kick pad with your foot, and then press voice. And then that's gonna bring up number. And so right now we're on number 3. Let's hear the kicks we can choose from. And that's probably gonna be it, number 8. I use that one a lot actually, but let's hear some others. That one's not bad either, 13. 225 isn't too bad. A little too dead though. All right. What did I say? 13. 13's pretty good. All right, let's go with 13. All right, the other one. Well, the other one I said was 8. Let's hear that one again. Nah, I like 13 better. So let's go with 13. And that may not sound that great right now, but we're going to work with it. So let's go back to voice. Let's press. Actually, no. Let's choose all the basic sounds first, and then we'll go through and make all of our adjustments. So first or second, we're going to do snare. So let's find a snare sound we like. That was not too bad. 54. .66 is pretty good. Okay, let's go back. We're getting into electronics now. Let's go back to 66. I think that's what I said. Yeah, I think that one's going to be good. So let's do 66. Now, here we go with the toms. The toms are going to be something pretty important because Albini definitely gets a very consistent tom sound. And I might end up going with those. I use those a lot, these 70s toms, because I like these toms. These ones might be good. So let's go with, we're going to keep them pretty low pitched. So let's go tom 1, it's going to be number 147. Tom 2. Oops, I went way past it. 148. Tom 3. 149. And then tom 4, if you have one. I don't have one on my set, but I'm going to do it anyways. We'll do 150. Most of the time, Steve Albini's drummers, the types of drummers that record with Steve Albini, most of the time play 4-piece kits. Don't ask me why, but yeah. I would say most indie type drummers play smaller drum sets. Okay, so there's our toms and snare. Hi-hat. Let's find a good hi-hat. I might have to go with just hi-hat group number 2, which is one I almost always use because the one that sounds the least like crap compared to all the other Nitro module hi-hats. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, so hi-hat HC02 for the hi-hats. Now let's do our cymbals. I'm cool with that one, 226. I use that one a lot. And I'm also cool with that one, 232 for my Crash 2. So 226, 232. Ride, also cool with that. So 217. I'm leaving the cymbals pretty much alone, but we're gonna mess with everything. Rim, really, I mean, let's just program it the same. We'll just do 66, just like the snare. Because the reason why I do this a lot on the Nitro module is almost none of the rim sounds, unless you're doing like a cross stick or something, sound anything like the, the non-rim snare sound. Like, you want a rim sound to sound like the same snare, but you're just hitting it on the rim. The problem with the Nitro snare sounds is all the rim shot snares sound completely different than the snare sounds. So it's like you have two different snares. So that's why a lot of times I either leave them the same, or when I had my Nitro module, I actually moved my snare pad to the Tom 2 position so I could use the rim as a ride. So if you're doing that, then you can just program your rim here to 217 if you want to use that as your ride cymbal. Okay, so here's all our drums. Whoops, what happened there? Oh, okay, that's, I forgot that the toms have rims, but we're not going to worry about those because the Nitro doesn't have any rim shot toms, although the Surge does. So if you're programming on a Surge, you can change those to whatever you want. I'm not going to mess with those. But yeah, that's one thing I always forget to mention, that all of these programming tutorials can work on a Surge too. They're the exact same module as the Nitro. So everything I do here can work on a Surge, as well as a Medeli, well, I forget the model number, but there's a Medeli drum module that's exactly like this as well. In fact, Medeli makes this module. So let's go ahead and move on. All right, so our kick drum, what we're gonna wanna do now is go back to voice. Oops, I went past. So let's go back to volume. I think the kick actually is good at 29. And let's bring our snare up to 30. Steve Albini doesn't mix his kicks super loud. You can hear them, but they're not like overbearingly loud. Snare's usually pretty dominant in a Steve Albini drum sound. Hi-hats, let's bring these things way down. So let's put them down to like 14. It's probably good. Maybe even lower. Let's go to like 12. Yeah, that sounds good. 12. Crash cymbals are probably good where they are. But let's keep moving. Let's keep working on the kick. So kick is at 29. Pan should be dead center. So 0. Pitch. I'm going to leave that alone. I think it's good. Sounds nice to me. Reverb. Okay, so let's see what adding more reverb will do. Now, see, this doesn't sound much like a Steve Albini reverb, but it's the only thing we have to work with really here. So to get the big ambient drum sound, we're going to have quite a bit of reverb. So let's put the reverb on 12. MIDI note can stay the same. And that's all we have on there. So let's go to the snare. And then let's increase let's keep the pan in the middle. Pitch. Hey, let's pitch it down 1 notch. Yeah, okay. So let's go to reverb. Let's increase our reverb to like 13 or so. Or maybe 12. Yeah, let's do 12. Toms, same here. Let's increase our reverb all the way up to 12 on each one of these. Oops. And like I said, this reverb isn't going to sound totally accurate because the only one we have, you know, I could achieve this sound actually much more accurately in my DAW, in my DAW, like Reaper, with some effects there. But first I'm going to do it like this, and maybe afterwards I'll show you guys a way to do a more convincing sounding Albini sound within your DAW. So, but let's work on this first. Okay. That's not too bad. All right, now let's mess with our EQ. So let's go to Kit. And then reverb is on, EQ high. Let's turn this down. To like -5. Give it a little analog warmth. Okay. Actually, yeah, that sounded a little... Let's go even lower. Let's see. Might need to bring those cymbals down a little bit. Let's do that too. I'll go back to that. Let's keep messing with the EQ. Okay, mids. Let's turn up our mids a little bit. No, that's too much. Let's leave the mids at 0. So that's fine. Low, let's crank up the lows a bit. There we go. Low +2. That's sounding pretty good, actually. That sounds kind of Albini-ish. All right, let's go with that. So, like I said a second ago, let's go back to voice. And I want to lower these cymbals just a little bit. They're a bit too hot for me, especially that one. I kind of like that one. It kind of sounds like a broken crash. Ride is good where it's at. Alright, that sounds pretty good. You know, I got asked to do a John Bonham sound too. And honestly, this could also work as a John Bonham type sound, because a lot of times Steve Albini's drum sound kind of sounds like a Led Zeppelin drum sound, quite honestly. He was very influenced by those recordings, you can tell, or at least I can tell when I listen to the way he mixes drums. And a lot of times too, Albini puts the drums very high, very high in the mix, like definitely higher than the bass. He usually mixes drums and guitar very loud, and bass and vocals very low. But that has more to do with the overall mix. But it does kind of make up the drum sound though too. Like how it's mixed in the song makes a difference. So I'm cool with this. I think this is good actually. So let's go ahead and save it. And let's put this one on, for me, 26. I think that's an open spot for me. Okay. Well, that's good, I think. So I'm going to make a song and play this drum sound to it. Make like an In Utero-esque Nirvana type song. All right, here we go. Okay, so what I did is I recorded a dry version too. So in case you are recording in a DAW, I think this way I could probably get it to sound more convincing. I mean, the reverb that's built into the Nitro module isn't bad, but it doesn't really sound like a reverb that Steve Albini would use. But unfortunately, that's all we have on that thing. So what I'm going to do here is, this is my dry track right here. You can hear what it sounds like right now, which really isn't that bad. I mean, it sounds good, but you know, it needs that reverb, that slap back that Steve Albini gets a lot. Now, there's a few ways to do this. Like, one, I could use a plug-in, and that'll pretty much do what I need to do. But There's an easier way, actually. What I could do is duplicate this track, and I'm going to zoom way in here, and I'm going to turn off snap right here. And what I'm going to do is just drag one of these over a little bit, and I'm going to turn it down a little bit. And that gives us a little bit of a slap back delay. There we go. And that one, I turned it down a little bit. I'm also going to put a little bit of reverb on that, but not a whole lot. I just want like a little bit of reverb. I'll just use my DX. Ooh, not that one. Never mind. That one is weird because it does that. I think it's like a, I don't know why it does that. Oh, it's a demo, that's why. Okay, so let's remove that. I think Express Effects Reverb. No, it's a demo too? How's that possible? Anyway, let's go with the tall reverb. This one will work. And let's hear what that sounds like. Okay, it's too much. Too big. Let's just bring that track down just a little bit more. And also I want to change my EQ on. I'm getting kind of getting involved here, but that's okay. Let's go to my, where is it? SSL EQ stereo. I'm gonna bring up my highs a little bit on the duplicated track. That's like the ambience track. Let's hear that again. There we go. Yeah, so to me that sounds a little more convincing to a sound Steve Albini would do. He likes to get that slap back effect, and a lot of times that comes from a natural room reverb, like I said before. But that's a good way you can emulate it, by duplicating a track and just moving it over a little bit, and then putting a little ambience on that track instead of working with your main track. My main track's still dry, so let me solo him up here. That's the main track, and then if I put the other one with it, you hear the slap back. And it just fattens it up. I'm actually liking this track. I threw this together really quickly, but it's pretty cool. I might have to turn this into a full-length song, because that's pretty heavy. Go back and listen to it one more time. I dig it. What do you guys think? Sound like In Utero drum sound a bit? I think it's pretty close. I mean, I'm working with a $300 electronic drum kit as opposed to thousands of dollars worth of analog equipment that Steve Albini has and Dave Grohl playing drums, real drums. So, for what I have, I think it sounds pretty cool. Alright, that's going to be all for this video today, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. Click the bell icon so you get notified every time I upload new content. You can also stream my music at Spotify. There's a link down below. Or you can just search me on all your streaming music service, whatever you prefer. I'm on all of them pretty much. So search Demonic Sweaters or my other project, which is Manasota. And I'll flash that up on the screen too. And there's all kinds of links down below, so check those out as well. Also, don't forget to check out my sponsor, DistroKid. Get that 7% off if you want to start streaming your own music on all the streaming services. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see y'all really soon. Have a good day.